You're ready to go.
All right, good morning, everybody. It is Friday, March 6th. This is the Weston Public Schools Communication Committee meeting. I am calling it to order at, did I already say 9:03 a.m.? I don't think so.
9:03.
Okay. Our first order of business is the approval of minutes from our February 27th meeting. Nicole or Sharon, did you have a chance to take a look and did you notice anything out of place?
I did. I'm going to play Michael. I'm so sorry here.
Hey, that's fine. I did these really fast.
Yeah, the only thing that I saw that was really out, to be perfectly honest with you, was it said that we said, all right, our next committee meeting is April 4th. That's the only thing that I found.
But that
Our
actually is
next
right.
meeting is April 7th.
Well, no, the next committee meeting is today.
Right, but at the time, right, the minutes, Jody, the minutes are a reflection of what actually occurred.
Yes, a committee agreed to reinstate a previously canceled meeting.
Which is so at the end, at the end
Oh,
of the meeting, we agreed to meet again.
got it.
That's all.
Okay, got it.
Actually, also, wasn't it a February 27th meeting?
The next scheduled meeting is,
No, like
what are you looking at? Number 5?
wait,
It was originally the agenda topic was the next scheduled meeting is April 2nd, and then the committee agreed to reinstate a previously canceled March 6th meeting.
yeah, and then
So at the end.
Oh,
starts and ends by saying the February 23rd, 2026 Communication Committee meeting is called to order, and the February 23rd, 2026 communication meeting be adjourned. So February 23rd was
okay.
was last Monday,
Yes.
and I think we met on Friday.
Was it Friday?
Yeah, the special meeting was on Monday, February 23rd on Monday,
Yes.
and then we met on Friday.
27th. Oh, you're right. Okay, got it. Got it. Got it. I know what you're saying.
I don't have my calendar in front of me, but I'm going to
Yep.
trust you guys.
I got it. I now see what you're saying. Perfect. Done.
All right. So with those changes, then I move
Yep.
that we approve.
Perfect.
That's okay. Dave?
Yep. You want to second that, Nicole?
Yeah, I second.
You both get gold stars for this Friday.
Perfect. Yep. That was a quickie for me.
All right. So then our next item is the review of the bricks and mortar that Nicole put together that should be reflective of the March 2nd special Board of Ed meeting.
Yes.
All right. So Sharon, I don't know if you want to start with any feedback from it.
Nice way to put me on the spot there, David. Actually, I had a couple of thoughts on. Let me take a look and see where they were here. School, January 7th, grade configurations. Prior, there was one area where I saw, I just didn't remember it from the meeting. Review educational specs. No, that wasn't it. Research grants. No, that wasn't it. State 5 through 8. Oh, a plan to reconfigure all grades within 3 schools. K through 8 are housed within Hurlbut and WIS. So is that something that I don't recall agreeing on that. I know that a longer term plan whereby middle school is flexible to add grade 5 we were looking at and move some grades from HES to WIS, but I didn't realize that we were looking at simply just close down the middle school and move the grades. Is that one of the things? Is that based upon the emails?
Okay. So like when I draft these or my whole idea to distribute them, there's always a balance between how high level
Sure.
and readable is it versus how detailed do we go into what we talked about in the meeting.
Yeah.
And now I'm realizing David wasn't here for the full meeting, but so there was a point when Michael said we need to, what happened to looking at 3 schools? And my impression was that it wasn't, let's just move into three existing schools. I think we need to do some kind of infrastructure updates, renovations to make that doable. So I'm just going to read you my shorthand notes. This is like what I took. This is what I took during the meeting. It says other possibility. What about three schools? Slide and then I think that was Michael. And then Deb said, slide the kids up or slide the kids down. If we abandon the middle school and fit our kids into Hess and Wiss, let's look at it. It's been asked. Can Colliers look at that and tell us what ballpark we're looking at? And then Deb says, other way to look at three schools is having capacity of new middle school to have potential to put the fifth grade there. If we build a building that has flexibility to make a middle school 5 to 8, then WIS opens it up to take more students, Hess opens it up to take fewer students, and Hess opens itself up for more town needs. Those are the only two ways to get to three new schools. And so that was Deb's answer to Michael. Do you remember that, Erica?
Yes, I mean, there was a lot going on that night, but I do recall. Yes.
I recall that part of the conversation. I guess what I didn't catch was the K through 8 into schools. I thought my understanding was looking when they said let's take a look at three schools. That doesn't necessarily preclude eighth grade going into the high school per se, right? So that's why I was looking at three schools. I didn't think that we, except for what you said with Lisa, basically mentioning slide the grades up or down and specifically referenced Hess and Wiss. I think that there was just a whole lot going on. I think the overall suggestion was let's take a look at three schools, not necessarily saying the K through 8 through Hess and Wiss. And the reason I say that is because that will be a very alarming thought, I think, for some parents to look at just those two schools being combined. So I think maybe it might be, and since that's just kind of a pie in the sky thing, rather than alarm people, maybe just saying grades K through 8 housed within the three schools, excluding the middle school. Maybe something along those lines might be a better way to say that.
Okay.
So
I don't know.
I really like numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I think we need something from 5. I just don't know what that is that will be informative enough to the community without sort of defining what that is, because it really hasn't been sort of defined. There was just this broad general statement about it. But maybe do we just say a plan to reconfigure all grades within 3 schools?
Well, I think, yes, I
Explore,
agree.
explore a plan? I don't know.
I think that is actually fine, a plan to reconfigure all grades within three schools, but I don't, so based on what you're saying, I don't think that the first sub point under number 5 is necessary. However, I do think that the second sub point is, where it says a longer term plan, because that was very clear. Deb had said that, and we all kind of, I thought that seemed very clear. A longer term plan with a new middle school that has flexibility to add a grade. I thought that, so a plan to reconfigure all grades within three schools, and then a sub, taking out the first one I think might be probably for the best, and then just put the second one in there so that they understand that it's what the thought process is, as opposed to, I think it'll just scare people to see that Hess and Wiss being combined in one school, or Hess, Wiss, and the middle school all being combined in one. I think that's going to scare some parents.
Well, they
Yeah.
would be composed too.
Well, yeah, two schools, but yeah, sorry.
Deb did give some feedback on this. She sent us an email this morning. Nicole, does that include, are those updates included in here, or
No, they haven't been
Okay.
updated. So I'm looking at Deb's comments in the C like right now too. So she did
Yeah.
not modify that first bullet point, and then the second bullet point she modified to say a longer term plan whereby a new middle school has flexibility to add grade 5 and some grades TBD move from Hess to Wiss. And then she writes in brackets or parentheses, these concepts were partially examined in earlier studies of campus revitalization, and the information can be updated.
So she wants that part in the brackets included or not?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I'm not opposed to that. So yeah, if that's what she would like to have done, and read it. Will you read it one more time? Because I don't have that in front of me. I don't get it.
I can also just share my screen.
Yeah.
Perfect. Sorry. Oh, sharing is not turned on. Would you mind turning it on, Jody? You're muted, so I can't hear you, but I still can't turn it on. I
Yeah,
still can't.
Dan, where's the code for turning on sharing for her? I'm not seeing it under her name. Everybody
You
should
have to
be
go, if you look at the bottom, see where it says share. There's a, for you, there should be a little caret next to it, and you
share
can,
settings.
yeah, and say all panelists. If you want to make me a co-host, I can do it too.
All right, because I didn't see that. Hang on. There you go. You're a co-host, and I'm looking for that connection. That's interesting. Everybody should have been allowed to share.
All right.
Got it?
You should be all set now, Nicole.
Okay.
Thank you.
Also, just to, while I was waiting for you, I also think that
Nice.
that first bullet point, I don't know if you read Steve Ezzy's email
Unless I say it.
Yeah, of
about,
course. Yeah.
so that first bullet point, I think captures what he was saying, which I also think Deb was trying to bring up in the meeting. But here's her, okay, so I'm sharing my screen. Okay. Thanks, Jody. Do you want me to zoom it if I can figure out how to do that?
No, you can. I'm able to pinch on my and make it larger. I think everybody else will be able to too. She makes good suggestions.
Sharon, I also emailed it to you.
Okay, thanks. I'm fine with these changes. Dave, you got any thoughts, David?
None
Nicole?
whatsoever. No, the only thought I had was I did drop off early, right? So I think that it is accurate to say we're looking at three school. And if we're going to, if I remember correctly, if we're going to sort of reference potentially the Hess in that email, the Hess, the WIS, and the high school only, which essentially eliminates the physical middle school, there is still the Model A on the chart that Erica put together. So I think if we're looking at three buildings, one, we should also say that we're also looking at a WIS new middle school, high school option, right? Because I think that was, or actually, no, Model A isn't really so much about the physical buildings, it's more about the grade configurations, right?
Right.
Okay. So I just want to, what threw me in the write-up that you wrote, Nicole, was obviously I dropped off a bit early. So the concept of essentially Hurlbut WIS in the high school to me was new. So do we want to, because we have talked about WIS, new middle school, high school, do we just want to make sure people, just to be, what's the right word? It's we covered it, right? We did at one point talk about, do we want to potentially vacate or could we potentially vacate Hurlbut? So it's not off the table, it's not on the table. So I guess Erica, I would defer to you, and I guess we'll ultimately defer to Deb. But if we're going to say there's a potential Hurlbut with high school, then also there's the potential of with new middle school, high school.
I, sh I think she sort of said that. She didn't say eliminating Hess. She said decreasing student enrollment in Hess and making room for like Phil and Dan to move in and other like office space to
Geez,
Hess.
Dan, you and Phil each got a wing.
All right.
South
North
house for
wing, mind
you.
you, but you get a wing.
You got to heat it yourself, though.
I'll bring a space heater. I'm good.
But yeah, so I don't know, Erica, if you have any feelings, but just when I read this last night, my feeling was, oh, this must have come up, this idea of essentially eliminating the middle school. So then I'm like, oh, what happened to the potential concept of eliminating Hurlbut? And I do, maybe, do we want to get into that level of detail? I guess there are really three scenarios out there, right? There's the Model A, which just talks about grade configurations that we're operating three buildings, but doesn't say what three buildings. Then there was sort of like Model A revision one, which was, I think, keep pre-K and K at Hurlbut. And now there seems to be Model, I'm not sure, Model Steve, which is
No, Steve didn't say specifically that. He just said, what happens if we go down to 3 schools? He didn't specifically say not have a middle school, keep Hurl, but he didn't specifically say that. He said we would
I think
be.
he did say not do this middle school project.
yeah.
Oh, all right.
As
I,
consolidate the middle school students into the existing facilities has not been fully vetted.
okay. All right. So he did say that.
Which is not possible without serious
Renovation.
on multiple schools, I
Yeah.
think.
So really, I guess my question is, it's more of a replay of what actually happened at the meeting, right? Because the three
Right.
of us probably have, or the six of us have all kinds of ideas what we'd like to do. But I wasn't there at the end of the meeting, so my only thing from the notes was when I saw this concept of what appeared to be eliminate the middle school entirely, I'm like, oh, what happened to the concept of with the new middle school and the high school? And then I think to Erica's point and Sharon's point and everyone's point, there was also a brief conversation about keeping 2 grades at Hurlbut and then moving everybody up. So do we want to put that in? So just to kind of not have the appearance something's been taken off the table, I would say we either just say we're looking at 3 buildings still with different grade configurations, or we should say that in addition to what we've already looked at, which is the with new middle school and high school, there's also, are we, I wasn't there for that part. Are we looking into the ability to operate just Hess West in the high school?
It wasn't so thoroughly discussed in detail, um Deb did say that, I mean, like it was discussed. And she basically said, yes, this has already been examined in previous reports, like back in 2017. And so like let's just revisit it.
Well, we want to revisit it because there are still a lot of people in town who think that a 3 building solution exists, but we just
Right.
need to let them say, absolutely, it exists. But as to Erica's point, with massive renovations, both at Hurlbut and also at WIS to accommodate the additional students. So there would be a cost for 3 buildings of doing that versus if we build a new middle school that's got flex space that we could eventually minimize our footprint in Hurlbut. And, we talk about like Hurlbut, if we're going to keep it, definitely has to have massive renovations done to it if we're going to try to put more students into it. If we keep it as is and we share the facilities with town, left pocket, right pocket scenario, as far as taxpayers are concerned, the Hurlbut, it has to have some sort of educational component in it. So some of that is always going to fall on us. That's part of, I think, the deeding of the land. It had to have some sort of educational input or some sort of educational thing. So that's why we talked about pre-K, K administration, but then we're still managing and maintaining 4 buildings or 3.5. if we share it with the town. So that's, I think, what the conversation is. If we build a new middle school and go not to 3 buildings, but 3.5 buildings. Right?
Yeah, so really did not go into much detail about these, but she said there are, like, this is what I wrote in my notes. Those are the only 2 ways to get to 3 new schools. And she said slide the kids up or slide the kids down, like down further into Wiss and Hess or up into Wiss and the middle school. But in terms of sliding the kids up into Wiss in the middle school, nobody said anything about fully eliminating Hess. It was just decreasing student enrollment in Hess. Not enrollment, you know what I mean. And but nobody specified which grades in which buildings. It's just something we need to talk about just to do the due diligence.
Yeah. All right. I think we're getting really into the weeds here. Probably more than we really need to for the overall communication to town.
Yeah, I think that ultimately we just want to, essentially, it's a TikTok of what happened at the meeting, but also interpreted to, just some conversational discussion versus things we're actually looking into. So I would defer really to probably the 3 of you, since I wasn't there at the end. If my opinion is, if Deb wants to leave in there the part about essentially eliminating the middle school, right? Looking at a study where we're eliminating the middle school, I would just ask or suggest that we keep in there that we are also looking at, I guess, we're vacating Hurlbut, right? Because that is something I think that we said that we're going to look at. Correct me on this one, Erica. Did one of the things that we talked about? I know we talked about putting 5 through 8 in middle school. We're definitely looking at that. And I know there was a conversation about could we vacate Hurlbut entirely? And I know there was a conversation, could we, or do we leave pre-K and K there? So where do we land on that one?
That wasn't explicitly, if we're talking about if we're talking about this newsletter just being a transcript of what was discussed at the meeting, that was
that
not.
was not.
Okay. But we did, yeah. Sorry, Erica.
Sorry, I think we should remain consistent from a communication standpoint, and to Nicole's point that she super valid. It really should just be a summary of what was discussed at this meeting, not our individual thoughts relative to each one of these. Which is really hard because there was so much that was thrown out. And Nicole, you've done such a great job, like really capturing it. And you're right, it is a delicate balance between what level of detail and generality do you speak in when you have so much that was sort of put on the table on meeting. But definitely should just capture the dialogue at the table, not add anything that wasn't represented or insert any ideas or information that wasn't discussed.
So is your feeling then, Erica, and I agree with you, it's supposed to be essentially, TikTok of what actually occurred, not what we think. So do you want to put in there, so right now, if we leave in the discussion about Hurlbut, WIS, and the high school only, do you think that opens, that's what occurred, but do we want to also, do we want to add that we're the Model A or the WIS middle school, high school is still there, or that was my only question, is that this would appear to me that that's been taken off the table, but I see what you're saying, which is if this is just supposed to be a TikTok, so to speak, of what happened at the most recent meeting, I guess that didn't come up. That is still under evaluation.
Yeah, I think that's a great way of putting it. Like it didn't come up, but it still could be under evaluation.
Just so I know how to revise. You're talking about eliminating Hess.
David, is that what?
Yeah. So my thought is, what's the group's thought as far as either just eliminating we're looking at 3 schools, right? I think that's we are committed to looking at 3 schools. The exact configuration is to be determined. I feel like over the course of our meetings, that has always been what we've our guide has not been what the grade configurations look like. That's for the educators, that's for Erica. The question is, can we actually educate our population in 3 buildings? So this concept of Hurlbut, WIS, and the high school is, I guess, not necessarily new. It's just somebody's idea what the grade configuration could look like. So do we just want to say there was further discussion about the ability to operate 3 schools rather than get into a specific configuration?
That's actually what I would lean more towards. But if it was said, I mean, there were a lot of specifics said in the meeting, though, about which way to go. Should we be as specific as to say which schools would be eliminated?
I don't think so.
I kind of like how David put it really generally
Yeah.
to replace that first like sub bullet under 5, but keeping the second bullet there. And listen, this is a summary, right? If they're really interested to hear about the specifics and what the board said, they should be tuning in, right?
Yeah.
Sort of like something to summarize. If there's an interest point here, they might, they'll probably go listen to some of it or a portion of it. I mean, that's
Agreed.
an option, but I don't know if that's actually true or not.
Would you just remind me what David said as a revision for the first bullet?
David?
Oh, you think I wrote it down? Now I have to repeat it? It was a.
It
Can
was
we
a piece of
rewind?
it was a piece of art too, Dave.
It was, but we can't find that art till tomorrow when this publishes at you online.
Well, are you asking me to add to this first bullet or replace the first
Yeah.
bullet? If you're asking me to add,
I think
No,
you just want it replaced.
yeah, I think we should just replace and just say that, that a further discussion was had about a 3 building configuration and not get into the specifics of which 3 buildings or what grades would be there because that's out.
Or the grades within a 3 building configuration.
Yeah.
wait, so it sounds to me like you just think, sorry, I'll share my screen again to my draft. If I can find it. Um, okay. Okay. Can you see my draft?
Yes.
Okay. So are you suggesting I just keep this and delete the 2 bullets?
No, I think you're keeping 5. You're keeping the second bullet. I think we're just talking about the revision of the first bullet and making it just a little bit more general, like a plan to reconfigure all grades within 3 schools, discussion on the grades within, like, discussions on variations of the grades within those 3 schools. Right? That's kind of like what was discussed, like what grades would be in those 3 schools. Is that really what was discussed? I don't know.
So I guess the way I was like thinking about this bricks and mortar was we didn't have a presentation by anybody with information. It was just a discussion. And so there was like a huge part in the beginning that was a discussion. It was asking Slam like these really in the weeds stuff that is just really too detailed to be putting into this. And then it moved on to what do we all think about like build new, renovate? And then, okay, well, if we want to build new, this price is too high. So what are we going to do? And it was kind of like well, we're going to have to do all of these things. And so what I really listed here was everything that we still need to do. And so it wasn't necessarily this is what we discussed and this is what we shared. It was these are all of the action items for what's coming next. And so what's coming next is we were talking about, well, at least we should revisit this prior study that was done about not moving forward with the middle school and seeing how we can put everyone into 3 schools. And so it's more of a to-do item rather than we discussed like which grades, because I don't know, is that what we're doing next? But I guess I'm just wondering, like, how does that first bullet differ from the actual line of number 5?
Yeah, my feeling would be to not get into the specifics of what buildings we're operating because we really don't know that. I think that that the discussion that took place when I wasn't there, but I understand the email that we received. The discussion that took place was the feasibility of, or there was a further the discussion of different configuration to operate 3 buildings.
So what's next is the exploration of the grades that may be housed in each of the 3 buildings, right?
Yeah, the grade, I think we refer to as grade configuration. So I think, yeah, it's,
Exactly what you're right, Nicole. A plan
What?
to configure all grades within 3 schools.
Right, exactly. So I just don't, it just seems like repetitive from the first line. So I guess what I would consider is just, so if everyone's really uncomfortable with this first bullet point, I guess I would say point 5, a plan to reconfigure all grades within each school, comma, including a longer term plan whereby a new middle school has flexibility to add grade 5 and some grades move from HES to WIS. Or point 5, a plan to reconfigure all grades within 3 schools, and then point 6, a longer term plan whereby a new middle school has flexibility to add grade 5 and some grades move from HES to WIS.
That's where it is. Yep. I'm comfortable with that.
With which one?
The, the one where you added the 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and then so I would revise 6 to conform with Debbie's revisions. She made no comments to this bullet point, so I could just delete it. Does that work with everyone?
yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you, Nicole. This is not easy.
It's
We were
hard too to have people critiquing
really-
your work.
Oh no, I don't worry.
Sorry. You do a great job here. You really do.
It's just it's not I don't take anything it's not a big deal to critique because I really just am I don't feel like I have that much like I haven't put that much into it that's my own. I really am just trying to keep it a transcript of what happened. So I just can't, like you just can't take anything. Like there's nothing to be offended about.
Perfect.
And you bring up a good point. This is just a recap of the meeting, and it's what you heard and your perception. And the great thing is that Sharon and I miss some of it, but hear the same thing and have a slightly different perception, right? So the goal is to just take all of our ideas, put them together so that the community gets a good idea of where we're at. Because that's the whole purpose of this, right? It's supposed to be just a Cliff Notes version of where we've been. And if something is of interest to a community member, they can dig in deeper, right? You've given the links, you've given access to all the past meetings. So it's sort of like, oh, this is interesting to me. This is the summary. Let me go get more information.
I was also very impressed with the email that we got as board members referring to, I read the most recent Bricks and Mortar.
Oh, I know.
Like,
I know.
yes, it's being read.
Bestseller in Weston.
It is. Actually, I was Nicole, just for a little validation, I was just trying to go in there and see. January's, no wait, when did we send one out? We sent one out March, not March 2nd. When did we send one out?
Yeah, I think it probably would have been March 2nd, Monday. Because Jody, you're muted still.
March 2nd, Bricks and Mortar.
March 2nd, bricks and mortar.
That's no. That's what we're looking at now. So it hasn't been distributed yet, but you did email one on Friday night, February 26th.
February 27th was
27th.
the other one that you had
Okay.
done.
Okay, yeah, that has 3,375 views.
Nice.
Yep.
Mm.
Location.
Nicole's taking a little victory lap.
Well, no, I'm
Right.
wondering, like, are those unique views or are they me like continuously going in to make sure it worked?
She'd like to get some geo information as well.
You'd have a callus on your finger if you did that 3,000 times.
Dan, can we get some demographics on those people as well for her?
I'll give you their zip
You got
code,
it.
and that's
No,
it.
I am curious about demographics. I'm like, are they coming from, not that we need to know this, but are they coming from your distribution? Are they coming from Sam's distribution? And I still think about people who like my personal relationships, who I'm wondering if they're still even getting these because they're either sending their kids to private school or their children are preschool aged. So it's not perfect, but I'm glad to hear that people are reading it. Because
Yeah.
I do think there are a lot of people who want to know what's going on, but just in the week to week scheduling of everything, especially with these snow days and these delayed openings, like they just don't have time to tune into these meetings.
Yeah.
I can tell you that 3,331 came from the mass notification. 18 came from emails that went out. 17 looked it on the website. Then we had done a direct distribution. So yeah, it's
That's
getting
Wow.
out there.
coming from the website was
Yeah.
also me.
68% of them looked at it on a mobile device, and 32% of it looked it on the desktop.
Wow.
And 31 actually clicked on links, and 5 clicked on buttons.
Wow.
Really getting into the weeds.
Nice. Again, it's being,
To have,
yeah.
And the average reading time was about 4 minutes.
Okay.
So
So
people
they
are
read it.
spending time looking at it. And it's posted on our website for people to see under our latest news every time it goes out, and it gets posted there as well.
Do the preschool parents also are they included in the district? Okay, communication.
If
Cool.
they are in Power School, parents get the distributions.
But those are
It actually even includes, I think, some outplace students as well that may be in Power School that get some of that information.
Good. So Nicole, you're quickly becoming a best-selling author here in Weston.
You are.
No, it's the communications committee. However, but I do think that it just reinforces the importance of the impartiality of this document, which is why I'm not offended by any feedback, because if this many people are reading it, this is how they're getting their information, and we prefer that they get their information from this than from
Yes.
hearsay, Facebook. So that's why I just think it's like helpful to not have our opinion and perspective in this. It's just this is what happened and this is the information that's available right now.
Well,
I think it's great. So thank you, Nicole. And I agree with you 100%. The great thing is that this is 3 people's input. So you're the ghostwriter, and we're just we're the final editors. So
Yeah.
all right. So that said, let me see here. So we good? Did we come to
Do you
a
have other
consensus?
comments other than that?
I'm good.
Okay. So Nicole, once you get really big as a writer, I would give you the domain westonforum.com, which used to be the paper in Weston, and I inherited the domain. So just waiting for a home, westonforum.com with your
Why did you inherit the domain of Weston Forum?
there's reason for it. There's value there. Right, Dan?
wait, David, can you say that again? You inherited westonforum.com?
He bought it from the previous domain owner, correct? Or did you just go straight through?
No,
Had they
it's not
retired
straight
it?
through. They retired it and I grabbed it.
That's
Oh.
funny.
David's probably, did you also grab like
Oh yeah,
way
look at
back
that.
in
It
the
goes to
day?
your website.
Did you grab like way back in the day, like all these other websites so companies could buy you out so you could have the domain? Like, did you buy, I don't know, like whatever, abc.com back in 1995 so they had to give you thousands of dollars for it?
All right, Dan, I'll quickly say, bring up Google quick. Type in Dunkin' Donuts, David Felton.
Oh
Now I
no,
need to do this.
Jody's rolling her eyes.
I'm
I
doing
need to
this.
do Dunkin' Donuts, David Felton.
That
Are you
scares me.
.com? .com?
No, just Dunkin' Donuts, David. Just a Google search, Dunkin' Donuts,
Oh,
David.
okay, 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 okay. All right. I'm doing it.
All right, so while you guys can do that during offline time, Jody will let me know what she thinks of that. You find anything interesting yet?
It didn't come
You're a
up. Hold
teacher?
on.
That's what I think is interesting.
What's that?
You were a teacher?
I
You
work for
did
Hamden
it.
Public.
You mad lad. You did it. You actually did what I said you did.
They bought. Oh, you actually grabbed Dunkin' Donuts and they had to buy it from you?
I operated a Dunkin' Donuts website before they had their own website. There's a whole story behind it.
You made the New York Times in
I know.
1999.
Auntie is the 25-year-old school teacher in Hamden.
That's so
So
funny.
back to our agenda. So you guys have some offline reading to do. As I just realized everybody else who was going to watch
Yeah,
this.
go buy
Hold
some
on, is this what bought
domains
your house in Weston?
and go buy. Well, we
all
own
right.
all the cicada dot anything cicada.com, cicada.net, cicada dot. Those are all ours. We own
Yeah,
them.
you gotta. Yeah, I
Mhm.
registered both my kids' names.
I,
Yeah, so
Mhm.
and I own things like Weston PTO Bake Sale 2020.
Oh, I've got a couple of those too.
I
all
let them
right.
go.
So sorry for the getting off track. All right, so our next
Fun
item of
diversion.
Well, so sorry, just super quickly. Oh, I guess this is maybe related to the next item. But in my preparation of this newsletter, I've been trying to get shortcuts from the Weston PS website. And so Jody just wanted to let you know that you can upload some new newsletters to the campus revitalization section, as
Mhm.
well as some new board videos.
Mhm. Yep.
Okay.
all right. So with that, our next item of business is any updates on the website. I guess that's for you to take away, Dan.
Yeah, so there's one small change I made for the calendar website to make it more accessible when you're on like an iPad or iPhone to be able to keep the PDF links to the district calendars while at the same time seeing the details within the dates meetings, because I know that that's what you had brought up last time. I'm going to share my screen real quick and show you what I am talking about. You see what I'm talking about? You see my screen?
I
Mhm.
do. You're
Okay,
talking about yeah.
so before this window used to just be this calendar, right? And when you hover over it with the mouse, you get a pop-up. When you're on your iPad or iPhone, you don't. And so there's no way to really see what happens. So I added this little upcoming meetings link on the left, so at least you could read and see what's going on, the next four meetings, and you can scroll through to see exactly what's going on corresponding to these kind of blue highlighted bars. This also keeps these three PDF links over there as well. And then if somebody wanted to view the full calendar, they can still click on this link and it would take you to the full calendar with all of the detailed items. So it's not the best, but it is a good workaround that keeps kind of the skeleton with the links to the PDFs, because I think that's a lot of people use those while giving you the detailed information on touchscreen devices like you were looking for, David.
I think this is great. This is very similar to I think we had on the old website where it sort of was this rolling,
Yeah.
right, of like what's the most current meetings and a few days out. So I think this
Yep.
is great. I had one question though, which is the link that says view full calendar.
Yeah.
Is it possible to change the wording on that? So instead of saying view full calendar, it just says something like calendar details. Because that might be more intuitive for people.
Yeah, let me look into that. I'll get back to you.
Okay.
I don't know if that's just an automatic link that's just created by the website when you embed the calendar, or if that's customizable. But I'll see if I can
Okay.
customize it.
All right. What do you, what do you
That's
think,
all I have
Nicole?
for website updates.
All right. Nicole? Sharon, what are you pouring there, Sharon?
I'm finally making a cup of tea. I need a little caffeine. Sorry, guys.
All right. So anything more on the website, Nicole or Sharon?
No.
No, just what I identified to Jody.
All right. Thank you very much. So, any other interesting discussions we want to have before we
Yeah,
close out?
so I've spoken to Debbie when she calls me about her comments and revisions to this. And so we did talk about, because I know last week I said I didn't know who is supposed to take responsibility for determining how we're seeking public input or feedback. And she confirmed that she's not going to set that as an agenda item for the full board, and she thinks that it's the communications committee should do it.
Yes. Okay. So,
It's not that we need to discuss it today, but just letting you know that
right.
it's not on her agenda.
Yeah. So that's a very good thing to probably wrap up with. So Sharon and I had this conversation. What Deb asked us to do, when I spoke to her, is she asked if the three of us would get in touch with the PTOs and see if the PTOs wanted to put onto their agenda discussion about the facilities, and we would be there just in case there was any questions about where we've been. So not really, obviously not opine on where we're going to go, but where we've been. And Deb said she'd like to also know when those dates are, and if she can attend, she will as well. So the concept is, and Sharon and I briefly spoke about this. Um, I think, Nicole, you and I, you have the children in Hess, I have a child in West. So what Sharon and I talked about was you and I could attend the joint West Hess one.
Mhm.
Sharon will do the middle school and I'll do the high school. And I think Sharon, Sharon was going to reach, she knows the PTO folks.
Yeah. The only one that I don't know, and Jody, you can help me with this. Who's the president of the high school right now?
Laura Schlossberg.
Okay. All right. I'll reach out to her. I know.
Does that track, Nicole? Is that okay with you?
Yeah, it's okay with me. My only addition or concern is that that's just a very small, I'm not opposed to doing that. I like to try to go to the PTO meetings anyway, and it's good when it's engaged parents who are there, but it doesn't, um, not a lot of parents can always attend those. So it's just a small number of people. It's also just targeting parents rather than all townspeople. So I'm just wondering if we also want to try to organize, and maybe we don't, because maybe they can just talk at public comment at regular meetings, but I don't know if we want to organize some kind of like public comment session or something like that, similar to the budget process,
Yeah.
where anybody can come and talk. Because
Yeah.
I think we'd agreed that we needed to have, we're going to do at least two of those?
well,
Or
just
am I-
confirm that that's not on the general meeting agenda. So it would be us who facilitates it, and I think, or who brings something to the general board to.
Oh, 100%. We need to have the board. We need to have two, in my opinion, we need to have at least two public comment in-person meetings where people can come in and voice their concerns, voice their thoughts, voice their support, or, ideas, whatever it is, because we've got to do community buy-in on this thing. This is not just going to happen with our hard work and good thoughts.
Yeah, there was a discussion that Erica, Deb, and I had during our chair meeting where I think Deb was going to, and to your point, Nicole, there's the PTO meets during the day, so it's very hard even for the parents to go to a day meeting. So I think, Eric, if I'm right, there were a couple of things that came out of that brief conversation. Deb's going to do, I know this came out of the conversation because I poked some fun at Deb for it, but Deb was going to do Kiwanis. Um, and then I wasn't sure, Erica, I know that Deb said she and I and Sharon, if Sharon wanted to, so I guess as whatever the three of us are called on the board, would try and attend other meetings that could be somewhat interactive, because the struggle that we have is at our regular board meetings, public comment's not interactive. So I think, Erica, right, there was Deb had some wheels spinning about the two of us, Deb and I, and then Sharon, if she wanted to join.
Yeah, I think it was for the League of Women Voters that they're meeting on Saturday, March 21st in the library, um, from 10:30 to 12, I think. And Deb was going to give them a call to see if there would be a space during that time where the board could sort of share or update with the community what's been happening. I know that that's a meeting that they were having where there's going to be some panelists because they invited me to be a panelist. So I think it's planning on being an interactive conversation as it is. So we could tap Deb on Monday during our regular scheduled chair meeting, David, to see if she got in touch with them and if that's a go.
Yeah, so Nicole, if you have some time to reach out to Deb, because I think you're right. Deb did double down that this is sort of our thing to figure out how to communicate with the community. And then Deb did say that the two meetings that she had some awareness of was Kiwanis, which I think she was going to attend, and the League of Women Voters, thanks Erica, was scheduled for potentially Deb and I and Sharon if you want to attend. So I don't know, Nicole, if you can reach out to Deb or whomever you might know, like where are other opportunities where one or two board members can go and meet with people and just give them the summary, the recap of where we've been, answer questions. So it's not, I think the goal, it's not us facilitating a meeting or calling a meeting. It's more of us going to some meeting of some group and they can advertise the meeting as we're going to talk about, the revitalization project, and we'll have a member of the Board of Ed or two members of the Board of Ed there, if there's any questions about, where they're at. I think that kind of fairly, Erica, is that kind of a fair?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Looking for existing things that are already going on in the community and
Right.
try to like tag on to it to do this little public relations tour per se.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But then we are still planning on doing as a district or as a board, we're still planning on doing like just we'll host the meeting discussing the board. Is that still in the coffer or is that done?
Where the board's hosting the meeting?
Yeah, we're hosting a public forum to discuss this specifically.
Yeah. I'll ask Deb if that's still of interest as part of this. I think about that. That would have to be like what we do for the budgets, just sort of
Yeah.
like where people can come out and speak on behalf. Some other communities have also done like little feedback, insight, or like input tours where, and this might be sort of once the board votes to go through with it and we're really getting into the detail of the ed specs where you collect input from, and that is sometimes is facilitated by a third party, so it doesn't put anybody in the line of fire per se. And where you collect input as you're really getting into the detail of the designing. So I think that would be the next level of public and community interaction and gathering of feedback. So let me put that on my list for Deb. We've got these little touch points on anything we can tag onto, but we also have an opportunity possibly to do an additional like public forum with the board in a more formal setting.
Okay.
Just based on so before, like when I was campaigning, I did a ton of canvassing. And a lot of people, which is why we have this communications committee too, like a lot of people just care about transparency, being heard. So to that end, I think it is helpful to just make an announcement saying that we will be in addition to going to other meetings and meeting people where they are, because I think you need to reach people in a lot of different ways. I do think it'd be helpful to just have a BOE specific announced, we're here to listen to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think what heading into, I think what Deb was saying was if we can find groups that normally meet the PTO, Kiwanis, League of Women Voters, and other groups that I don't know who those groups are, we should try and get some time to attend one of their meetings. Then I think Erica was saying that we're going to have to at some point also have some kind of community meeting. I mean, we sort of have to have that. It's it's the only way to get everybody to know, right? Because not everyone's going to be a member of these groups. So
Yeah, I
the
agree.
question is, yeah, I think the question was the format. And is it a Board of Ed meeting? I think a Board of Ed meeting would severely limit us. So I think that because we can't, it's not interactive, right? So I think that one of the things that Deb was going to look into was, do we have the format, right? We're going to have the meeting with the community. That's, if anyone's tuning in now, it's going to happen. It's the format. We want to try and make it interactive if possible, but for it to be interactive, it can't be a Board of Ed meeting because it's right. So, but I think that she was working on the concept of, for example, the three of us, Deb, yourself, Sharon, and me. Um, Jody, what are we called? I'm sorry, I don't even know.
The executive board.
Oh, the
Okay.
executive board, yes.
Okay.
The
So that
executive.
way it's a little bit more informal and we're not bound by the public comment rule where we just have to sit there and because to your point, Nicole, people they want to be heard, they want to be acknowledged, and they want to, they want to know that they're not just talking into a black hole,
The
Mhm.
public
which is how our
forum.
Board of Ed meetings, unfortunately, they would appear that way, right? Because it's a listen only opportunity. So, Eric, do you know where we're at with that, or even like,
No, I do know when we talked about that, Deb was more interested in the touch points with like Kiwanis, the Senior Center, the League of Women Voters. I don't know, someone mentioned Lachat Farm, like just out there in the community. But I have it on my list to talk about on Monday. Like, do we need a Board of Ed public forum similar to the budget forum that we did, where people just have the freedom to speak and provide their thoughts and input? Obviously, like David said, that wouldn't be interactive. But based on what we hear there, maybe there would be an opportunity to do some follow-up smaller meetings at different times where it could be a little bit more interactive. And I don't
yeah,
know like at what point that would be most valuable, but I have it on my list to talk to her about.
I
But
wonder,
I tell her,
something also to
Nicole,
consider, and I don't know the answer. I wonder, is it allowed to be interactive if it is Erica, David, and Deb only the ones present, or only the communications committee present? Is it allowed to be interactive under those circumstances?
I'll look
Yeah.
into that on Robert's rules.
I
Okay.
don't think workshops are interactive.
Workshops,
They're-
subcommittees, these committees are not interactive.
No, committee meetings and workshops are not
Mm-mm.
interactive.
I think what we have to do is, sorry, go
Sorry.
ahead, Erica.
No, I think you can have three, right? Because a quorum is
That's
four.
not a quorum.
Yeah, I think that from a numbers perspective, the three of us as a committee can certainly get with the community. Sharon, Deb, and I can get with the community. I think what we really are after is how can we make it interactive so that when somebody says or asks a question and we have the information, we can make it interactive. And I think those are the guidelines that we need some help from maybe even Jessica on, right? Like how do we do that interactive piece? And maybe it is in fact similar to the ATBM where you don't have the full boards. You only have a couple of members from the board who have the ability to answer the questions as they're proposed or asked. But I think that's what we're looking for,
Yeah,
right?
I was looking at more of like the ATBM format, just so that people could come in and have their voices heard, right? And like you said, just very top level individuals there who can then speak. It's not an official board meeting or whatever.
Yeah. Or if Deb prefers smaller groups, I guess Jody, you'll let us know, for example, if Deb's preference is smaller groups, can the communication committee, the three of us, put something together where we have a couple of dates that are, I don't know, an hour and a half at the middle school or the library, two or three of those where, it's not I'm not sure what it would be called, but the three of us could potentially have two or three meetings where people can just come and coffee and bricks, mortar, and coffee. Okay. So to be determined or to be followed up. All right. Anything else new, interesting, Nicole or Sharon? All right. So in that case, then our next scheduled meeting is April 2nd. And when is our next regular Board of Ed meeting? Oh, wait, what's our next meeting? Is it a Board of Ed or is it a facilities?
March 16th
March
is
16th is a Board of Ed meeting. And then there's going to be actually before that, we're going to have an EOC meeting on March 12th. We just scheduled that. Then there's the March 16th Board of Education meeting. And then possibly another special Board of Ed meeting if we need it. I'm working on getting availability to see so we can have that in our back pocket if we need that.
Okay, so the next must-see is March 12th, the EOC, because they're the Educational Optimization Committee, and they're tasked with what kind of happens inside the buildings, the educational piece. So
And Colliers will be there for that.
Oh, okay. And that's on Zoom and it's a
Yes.
committee. Okay.
Yes, that's at the EOC meeting.
And they meet at, is it 8 or 8:30 in the morning?
That one actually is going to be a special, since it's a special add-on, let me tell you, it's, I think, 1 o'clock on Friday, the 12th.
Okay.
Wait, of March or
No,
April?
Thursday, the 12th.
Okay, okay,
Thursday, the 12th is a 1 o'clock special EOC meeting.
okay. So that's the next must-see event for those folks who are very interested in the facilities. March 12th, 1 o'clock EOC, or catch it on DVR afterwards.
Wait, I
All right.
apologize. When you say it's a special meeting, does that mean the full board is going?
No. This is just the EOC. It's
Okay.
a special meeting because it's outside of our normal schedule. So it's just an EOC special meeting.
But you can go and make them nervous.
You can just sit and
I
watch.
I just don't know because I know Jody set the doodle to schedule another meeting. And so
That's the Board of Ed meeting. That's a special Board of Ed meeting. That was either March 23rd or March 30th. I needed availability on.
Okay.
This one is just the EOC meeting. You can come and watch. No, you're not a panelist on it, but you can certainly sit there and watch. Otherwise, it'll be recorded.
Okay. Also, so just before we end, David, do you want me to reach out to the PTO presidents for Hess and West to see if we can join their next?
I think Sharon.
That's what I was, yeah. I was in the process of doing that.
PTO? Oh, with all PTO presidents?
I was just going to reach out just on behalf of the communications committee saying, here's what we would like to do. Here's what we'd be visiting your meetings, that kind of thing. But I mean, it's up to you. If you would
I
rather
didn't know if we're just doing it for middle school and high school.
Well,
What's
Nicole,
that?
you know, yeah, Sharon, are you okay if Nicole?
Yeah, go
has-
ahead. I'll just do middle
Yeah.
school and high school. No problem.
I don't care at all.
Me either. That's fine. I haven't done it yet. So go ahead. If you want to do WIS and Hess, that'd be great.
Thumb wrestle.
This doesn't have to be complicated.
Okay. All right. So Nicole, you'll do Hess and WIS. Sharon, you'll do the middle school and the high school. And then
Yes.
I guess you can just shoot an email off to me or each other and we'll just find out what those dates are. And again, just remind the PTO if they want to add it to their agenda for discussion purposes, great. They're the leader, they're the facilitator. A Board of Ed member or two will come to answer any questions about, where we've been. So if they think it would be helpful to have a Board of Ed member there, that's the purpose of it.
Yeah. We're not giving a presentation specifically
Right.
or anything like that.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
So
Cool.
with that, yeah. So with that said, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Oh, it means I have to go paint, but I so move.
A second.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Thanks, you too.
right,
Bye-bye,
bye-bye.
guys.